What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Brew Review. Today we've got Embassy Coffee Roasters out of Goshen, Indiana. Today we're going to be brewing up a natural Ethiopian. I'm pretty excited. Ethiopians are my favorite origin. Naturals are one of my favorite processes, so I'm excited for what this bean is about to produce. Before we get this brewing, I just want to say a huge shout out to everybody that liked, commented, and shared my last video. I appreciate the love and support. And I mean, I'm just doing this for fun, but I appreciate you guys. So without further ado, let's get to the brew. We've got the coffee brewed. We're gonna take this off, let it cool down a little bit. So while we let that cool down, wait a minute, let's talk about the coffee a little bit. So this is a natural process, or also some people call it a dry process. So what that basically means is once the cherry is picked from the tree, it goes and it sits in the cherry fruit. The bean sits in the cherry. So it will ferment over the time. Usually, I want to say it's about 30 days that it will sit. And as it sits, it'll take on flavors from the cherry and ferment. And usually what you end up with is a very fruity, sometimes floral, a sweeter cup of coffee. Just because all of those sugars have more time to break down and go into the bean. But at the same time, you run the risk of having your coffee rot, which nobody wants rotten coffee. And I know one of the flavor notes you can get from a rotten dry processed coffee would be like rotten bananas, which I don't know about you, but I don't want a coffee tasting like rotten bananas. Right off the bat, I'd say it's a clean cup of coffee, very bright. It's got a very juice feel to it in the mouth. There's definitely some lime in there. I'm picking that up. I'm also picking up a little bit of raspberry. It's like raspberry, but almost blueberry, which might sound weird, but that's just what my tongue's tasting. Yeah, that's a good cup of coffee. I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit longer. That way more of the sugars and more of the flavors can really be released into it. Just let it cool down a little bit more. All right, now that we've let this cool down a little bit, let's taste it again, see if any new notes, anything has changed about it. All right, so the first thing I have to say that's changed, the raspberry, I'm not getting that anymore. It's just straight blueberry. It's got a little bit of a chocolate in there, like not a milk chocolate, but like a raw cocoa, like a cocoa bean flavor to it. That's good. That's what I like out of coffee. That is good. Getting some grape, which is where I could see where they'd get the fermented, the winey, the grape, all of that kind of plays together. It's like one note, but it's not one note. It's weird. It's weird. Man, I love Embassy Coffee Roasters. They're one of my favorites. I feel like every bag I get from them is just better than the last, and they are yet to disappoint me. Knock on wood. I'm not that they ever will, but you know, you never know. Right off the brew, I got lime, fermented, fermentedness, raspberry-ish. But as it cooled down, more of the sugars were able to come out, and I got more of the blueberry, more of the chocolate. Definitely a good cup of coffee. I would definitely suggest. I don't think you'll be able to get a bag of this anymore, just because Embassy has very low supply. So when you see it, you gotta get it, because you might not be able to get it. Let's talk a little bit about the farm. So, okay, I guess I can't really talk about the farm. So I looked into this. It says that the farm is Hamisho. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not. But what I was able to look into and find online is that it's not actually a farm, but that's a processing plant that the farmers will bring their coffee to. In this area of Ethiopia, there's about 1,500 farmers that bring their beans to this processing plant. The region is Sidama, I think. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, so please don't roast me. But Sidama is the region. The farm processing plant is Hamisho. It's around one mountain, I think. There might be a few more mountains. I don't know how far all the farmers would travel to get to this processing plant. But there's about 1,500 farmers, and that goes into actually the variety, why it is an heirloom. Since there's so many different farmers coming to this plant, they can't say, yes, this bean is this variety and this one is this variety. That would just take too much time, and by the time they would be able to figure it out, the coffee probably wouldn't be good anymore. So that's why heirloom is called heirloom. Cross-pollinating, trees are always changing. And Ethiopia, fun fact for you, is actually where coffee started growing naturally hundreds of years ago. I don't know the actual date, but Ethiopia would have been the only place to find coffee growing naturally, which is kind of a cool fact. So ending notes: lime, fermented grape, I'll say fermented grape, chocolate blueberry. Coffee is opinion based, and that's what I'm saying. So deal with it. So if you're in the area, check out Embassy Coffee Roasters. Again, they're located in Goshen, Indiana. Definitely a sick cafe. Stop in there sometime, get a coffee with a friend, bring a friend a coffee, pick up a bag. If you need any brew supplies, I know they sell Kalita Waves. They sell Hario V60s too. Go in there, talk to the baristas. If you're looking to make a pour over and you're in the Goshen area, they will set you up and they will tell you what to get. Yeah, I think that wraps it up for this video. So shout out to MC Coffee Roasters for being a rad coffee roaster. Keep up the good work. Little sneak peek for next week. I've got a special coffee from Brandywine Coffee Roasters. So this coffee came from Delaware. It's an anaerobic process. It's Columbia. That's all I'm going to talk about it. If you want to see more about that, check out next week's video. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. And thanks for all the love in the last video. I appreciate every single one of you that shared it and liked it, commented, and showed your grandmas. I don't know who you were showing it to, but I appreciate it. Until next week, we'll see ya.